7.5 goes over factoring trinomials in the form of x squared plus bx plus c. We're going to first look at these trinomials where your b and your c term are positive. With any of these trinomials, you have different terms that are considered your a, your b, and your c. The coefficient of that x squared is your a. The coefficient of b is c, the coefficient of x is b, and then that constant is c. With that, your b and your c are going to be positive with the first set of examples that we're going to look at. So with these, they're just told to factor. We're given a as x squared plus 10x plus 16. So the method that you use when you're working with these, you're going to take your constant, that c value that doesn't have a variable attached to it, and you're going to find all of the factors of that value. From there, you're going to choose the factors that add up to be your b term. So like with example A, we have that 16. 16 is 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. If we added these, because they will both have the same signs, we're going to have 17, 10, and 8. We're looking for the 10. So that 10 we see by doing 2 plus 8. So this is going to factor out to be x plus 2 times x plus 8. So you'll see here the variable that is given to us in that trinomial that we start with, it is going to be separated into x and x in two separate parentheses. The term or the number that goes into those parentheses with the x are the two factors that you used to find the sum of that b term. So with that, for this one, we found that 2 plus 8 is 10, but 2 times 8 is that 16. Because we got those two factors that work on both the multiplication and the division, or the multiplication and the addition, you separate those with x in two sets of parentheses that will be multiplied to one another. If you were to FOIL this out, you would get the same exact trinomial that you started with. So if you did x times x, then x plus 8, x times 8, then 2 times x, and 2 times 8, you would get that x squared plus 10x plus 16 when you simplify it. For example B, we have x squared plus 7x plus 6. So we're going to find the factors of that 6. We have 1 and 6, 2 and 3. These are both positive, so we're going to add them. We get 7 and 5. We're looking for a 7. We have that 7, so we use the 1 and the 6. So our first term there is that x squared. It separates into x and x inside parentheses. We'll use the 1 and the 6, so x plus 1 times x plus 6 is the factored form of that x squared plus 7x plus 6. For example C, we have x squared plus 9x plus 8. For this one, your factors of that 8 are 1 and 8, 2 and 4. That 8 is positive. That b term of that 9 is positive, so these are both going to be positive. 1 plus 8 is 9. 2 plus 4 is 6. We're looking for a 9. When we combine these factors, we have that 9, so the 1 and the 8 are what's going to be the numbers that we're going to use. So we're going to have x plus 1 times x plus 8. For example D, we have x squared plus 11x plus 10. So same thing, I'm going to find the factors of the 10. We have 1 and 10, 2 and 5. My 10 is positive, that 11 is positive, so these two factors that I'm combining are both going to be positives. So we have 1 plus 10, which is 11, and 2 plus 5, which is 7. We find the one that gives us the 11, which is the 1 in the 10, so this factors out to be x plus 1 times x plus 10. If we look at example 2, we're looking at when b is negative and c is positive. When this happens, In order to get a positive when you multiply, your two terms have to be the same sign. In order to get a negative, when you add those two terms, both signs would have to be a negative. So when you look at the factors of these, you want to pay attention to the sign on that B term as well as the sign on that C term. It's not always going to be where both are the same sign or both are positive. So if we look at A, we have x squared minus 8x plus 12. Your factors of 12, we have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. We also have negative 1 and negative 12, negative 2 and negative 6, negative 3 and negative 4. We combine these to find which one gives us that B term. So this is going to be 13. The 2 plus 6 is 8. 3 plus 4 is 7. Negative 1 minus 12 is negative 13. Negative 2 minus 6 is negative 8. And negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. Again, we're looking for the negative 8. That negative 2 and that negative 6 give us that negative 8. So this factors out to be x minus 2 times x minus 6. For example B, we're given w squared minus 4w plus 3. So this one has a w instead of an x, so when we factor that out, we're going to use w instead of x. Same concept though. For the 3, we're going to find the factors. We have 1 and 3, as well as negative 1 and negative 3. We want to find the ones that give us a negative 4. So 1 plus 3 is positive 4. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. So we found that negative 4. We use the negative 1 and the negative 3, and this factors out to be w minus 1 times w minus 3. For example C, we have n squared minus 12n plus 35. So for this one, we're dealing with the n squared instead of the x squared. So again, we're going to keep that in mind when we factor this. For the 35, we have 1 and 35. We also have 5 and 7. We want to think opposite as well, so that's negative 1 and negative 35, negative 5 and negative 7. So you have all of these factors. We're going to combine. So 1 plus 35 is 36. 5 plus 7 is 12. Negative 1 minus 35 is negative 36. And negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. We want to look for the negative 12. We have the negative 5 and the negative 7 that give us negative 12. So this is factoring out to be n minus 5 times n minus 7. Example D gives us x squared minus 14x plus 24. So our factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. We also have negative 1 and negative 12. Negative 1 and negative 24, negative 2 and negative 12, negative 3 and negative 8, negative 4 and negative 6. We want the ones that add up to be a negative 14. So 1 plus 24 is 25, 2 plus 12 is 14, 3 plus 8 is 11, 4 plus 6 gives us 10. The negative 1 minus 24 gives us negative 25. Negative 2 minus 12 gives us negative 14. Negative 3 minus 8 gives us negative 11. And negative 4 minus 6 gives us negative 10. So again, the negative 14 is what we're looking for. We get a negative 14 when we add the negative 2 and the negative 12. So we're going to have x minus 2 times x minus 12. For example 3, we're working with these trinomials where c is negative. When c is negative and we find the factors of that, it just means that your two factors are going to have opposite signs. So again, you're keeping in mind the sign on your c term and the sign on your b term when you're doing these. So for A, we have x squared plus 4x minus 21. We're going to find the factors of negative 21. We have negative 1 and 21. we have negative 3 and 7. We also have a positive 1 and a negative 21, and a positive 3 and a negative 7. If we combine these, for the negative 1 and the 20, we get 20. Sorry, the negative 1 plus the 21, we get 20. The negative 3 plus the 7, we get 4. 1 minus 21 is negative 20. And 3 minus 7 is negative 4. Again, we're looking for a negative 4. We get that, or sorry, a positive 4. We get that positive 4 with the negative 3 and the 7. So this factors out to be x minus 3 times x plus 7. And again, if you are a little unsure about these, multiply them. Foil them out. If you foil them out and you get the same trinomial that you started with, then you know your answer is correct. For example B, we have x squared plus 2x minus 15. So negative 15 we find the factors of. We have a negative 1 and a positive 15. We have a positive 1 and a negative 15. We have a negative 3 and a positive 5. We also have a positive 3 and a negative 5. The negative 1 plus 15 gives us 14. 1 minus 15 is negative 14. Negative 3 plus 5 gives us a positive 2. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. We're looking to get that positive 2, which we have with the negative 3 and the 5. So this factors out to be x minus 3 times x plus 5. For example C, we have y squared plus 13y minus 30. We'll find the factors of negative 30. We have 1 and negative 30, negative 1 and positive 30, 2 and negative 15, negative 2 and positive 15. We also have 3 and negative 10, as well as negative 3 and positive 10, and 5 and negative 6, as well as negative 5 plus 6. 1 minus 30 is negative 29. Negative 1 plus 30 is positive 29. 2 minus 15 gives us negative 13. Negative 2 plus 15 is positive 13. 3 minus 10 is 7. Negative 3 plus 10 is these are opposites. We have a negative 7 and a positive 7. Then 5 minus 6 is negative 1. Negative 5 plus 6 is positive 1. We look for the factors that give us a positive 13 when we combine them, which is the negative 2 and the positive 15. So this factors out to be y minus 2 times y plus 15. For example D, we have x squared minus x minus 42. So again, we're going to find the factors of the negative 42. We have 1 and negative 42, and that gives us a negative 1 and a positive 42. We also have 2 and negative 21, so that's also a negative 2 and a positive 21. 3 goes into it evenly with negative 14, so it's negative 3 and positive 14 as well. 4 does not go into it evenly. 5 does not go into it evenly. 6 goes into it negative 7 times, so it's also negative 7 and positive 6. A negative 6 and a positive 7. If we combine these, for the first one, we get a negative 41, then a positive 41. 2 minus 21 is negative 19, and within a positive 19, 3 minus 14 is negative 11, positive 11. 6 minus 7 is negative 1. Negative 6 plus 7 is positive 1. We're looking for a negative 1, which we get with the 6 and the negative 7. So this factors out to be x plus 6 times x minus 7.